I was watching a program the other night on ITV called 100-Year-Old Drivers. And watching that kind of sparked me to talk about this today. So this program was kind of highlighting and I suppose in a way celebrating people close to, reached and beyond the age of 100 and still driving. I'm just going to say there's nothing wrong with anyone over a certain age, whatever that age may be, 70, 80, 90, 100, still driving, as long as they are still competent to drive. In actual fact, there was one lady driver on this program who used to fly Spitfires in the Second World War, delivering them to airfields direct from the factories. Used to rally when she was younger, and even at the age of, I think she was 99, could still tell that she was a competent driver. But on the flip side, they had some drivers on there that you just thought, oh my god, these people are still legally on the road. I mean, they showed one driver who, I think it was 102, and driving along, a road like this. He's kind of coming along and then drifting into, it was much thicker than this, but drifting into a cycle lane, drifting across the road, and then comes to a right hand turn and bang, totally misjudges it, up on the curb. I mean, it was shocking, absolutely shocking. And so it went on. And in my opinion, it was kind of like, these people shouldn't be on the road, but they are, and they're still allowed to be. That's what I find absolutely amazing. And I learnt something new today, because I had to look it up. Now, I knew that your driving licence was only valid for a certain length of time up until your 70th birthday. Putting aside the fact that you have to renew your photo card. At the age of 70, you have to apply to renew your licence. And then from there on, you have to reapply for your licence every 3 years. So 70, 73, 76, etc. But what I didn't realise was that you can just do this online now, and there's no real checks or balances. You have to make sure that you're not medically unfit. I.e. your doctor hasn't said, oh, you shouldn't be driving. And you must be able to meet the DVLA eyesight limits, but there is no test, to say, oh, right, okay, here you go, test you that you have done it. You just need to confirm that, well, I think you just need to confirm. I don't think there is any tests that you have to go through. I think it's kind of taken on your word, but do correct me if I'm wrong. Jesus, that sounds bright. I'll light it down. So effectively, as long as your doctor hasn't said, oh, you're unfit to drive anymore, and even then, doctors don't always do that, and the doctor has to write to the DVLA, then you just confirm that you meet the eyesight test, that you've got no medical condition that would prevent you from driving, and they just keep renewing your license. I mean, if that just doesn't sound bloody nuts, then I don't know what does. How that can be allowed is beyond me. So, looking at that programme and seeing a couple of the drivers they highlighted kind of clipping the curbs, weaving, not holding their lane. Yeah, I don't want to be on my bike, by that person when they, their reactions are too slow. So what's the solutions? Well, if you don't really want to change the status quo too much, then what you do is you say that from the age of 70 onwards, and every 3 years when you renew your license, that you have to go and visit your GP. Your GP has to sign you off as a fit and proper person to drive, and can also, as part of that fit and proper person, can give you an eyesight test as well, so you meet those requirements. Now, that I think would go a long way to improving driving standards on our road. Mean that there would be less issues. And also would take away the onus, as it currently is, on relatives having to talk to their elderly relatives and persuade them to surrender their license, because anyone can surrender their license at any stage. So my mum and dad, at some stage, if I thought they were unfit to drive, my dad, for example, who's a particularly how would I describe it, strong-minded individual. If I had to persuade him that he should surrender his license, that's going to be a tough ask, and I could imagine that would be, well, I don't imagine, I know it would be a very, very difficult conversation, and would probably drive a bit of a barrier between us. So you solve that problem of relatives having to go through that difficult and uncomfortable thing of persuading people to give up driving, and you'd also introduce a kind of sense of reasonableness. So I think that's an easy solution. I can imagine and GPs kicking off about it, that they're under enough pressure as it is at the moment with things to do, they don't need something else added on. The other more extreme view is that once you reach a certain age, so 70 let's say, that you introduce a mandatory retest. And I know I've gone on before about how, in terms of the standard of driving, once you pass your test, that's it, and there probably should be mandatory retests for all people at certain stages. You know, you can certainly see an argument for suggesting that once you reach a certain age, you do have to do a retest. And the first thing of getting signed off by a doctor, you know, so putting the onus on, you've got to get a positive sign off rather than you have to declare if you're unfit. I mean, that would be a good step forward and very easy to implement. The mandatory retest would be more unpopular, so I can see that that wouldn't go down well. But you know, I am in favour of that. You know, it's simple fact that as we get older, our reaction times, yeah, the average person, there'll always be exceptions to the rule, but generally reaction time increases. So we're not as fast or nimble as we used to be. I mean, I've certainly known it myself. I can see that, you know, I haven't got the reaction time and energy that I had when I was 20 as I have now into my 40s. And it's not about stopping people from driving for the hell of it or about taking away someone's independence. It's about making the roads safer, and sometimes protecting people from themselves. Yeah, I know if someone told me, oh, yeah, because of my age, I couldn't drive anymore or ride anymore, it would kill me. Absolutely destroy me. But you know what? If I carried on doing it when I shouldn't, and someone said to me, oh, yeah, my son or daughter said, come on Dad, you know you really shouldn't be anymore, and I did, and then, you know, you cause an accident, God forbid you kill someone, how could you ever live with yourself? So there's an element of helping people to help themselves. Well, you know, that's just my view. You may think totally different. There may be something that you think I've totally failed to consider as part of this. You know, let me know. Speak to you soon.